We're live.
Sing us a song.
Yeah.
You're the Nick man.
Sing us the song. Yeah. Now I got Piano Man in my head.
Sorry.
Words like violence break the silence. Come crashing into my little world. Painful to me, pierce right through me. Can't you understand? Oh, my little girl. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here on the Ramblecast. Words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. Let's see. There you go. There's the
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we know now why this guy is covering his ear.
Exactly. I told you I could sing you a song. I didn't really practice it. You know, it wasn't my best, but it was.
No, it was your best one ever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree, Matt?
It's hard. It's hard pleasing you, Jack, week in and week out.
Dude.
Yeah, I should have gone with Tequila. Damn it. Actually,
All Rubens.
Matt I actually tried to look up the Pee Wee Herman theme song to play that instead, but
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
the Pee Wee's It's Pee Wee's Playhouse, but yeah, it's all in sharp chords.
Only 70 years old. Paul
Yeah.
Rubens.
I mean,
know,
even
right?
I didn't even think he was that old though. You know, when you think about it.
Yeah.
I thought be honest with you, I thought we're the same. I thought I was the same age.
Yeah, I would have put him in his mid 60s. Yeah, I know, Jack, you're not in your mid 60s. I know you're not in your mid 60s, but I'm just saying, like, I would have put him somewhere around 64,
He
65.
just had one of those faces
He
that
did.
always kind of like made him look young, you know?
Yeah.
So
battled cancer for 6 years.
Yeah, and didn't tell
Wow.
anybody. Isn't that crazy?
No. I guess Daryl Hannah just was it Daryl Hannah? Someone he was friends with, or was it? Yeah, I think it was Daryl Hannah. Just talked to him like 2 weeks ago, and she didn't know that he had cancer. He didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. I was watching one of those clips the other day of some old when he was on the one of the late night talk shows, and he was talking about like his very first ever appearance as Pee Wee was on the Dating Game.
Yes.
Which I did not know. Like he said, yeah, because I literally just invented the character, and I thought, hey, there's open casting calls for the Dating Game. Let's go. He said, of course, everyone looked at him like, who the hell is this guy? You know, he's going to be on the show.
Yeah, he got picked. He was on, I guess, three times and won once. Yeah, I watched an episode.
Really?
I watched an episode today that he didn't win. He didn't win He didn't win. And he didn't really say. He did. It must have been his first time because he didn't really sound. He didn't have the voice down yet.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does. So, like, he hasn't perfected.
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah. And it's sorry because I didn't want to make fun of him, but yeah, the best one I've seen so far was of the first movie, the fat guy that wanted his bike. You know.
Oh, Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the character's name.
Oh, okay, the character.
Francis.
Oh,
yeah, it's like the face Francis makes when he finally realizes his bike's for sale. You know, he's like,
I gotta watch that movie again. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Big Adventure is really good. I mean, Big Top Pee Wee has its moments, but yeah, the Big Adventure is good. And I think one, it was Tim Burton's first film. You know, and I think that's one of the things that makes it good. It's so out there, and I think that was a perfect blend of.
Well, early in his, you know, I don't know, like directing. You know that I mean, now he has so much more of a style crafted and kind of honed in. I mean, it's same with Wes Anderson. Like you look at Bottle Rocket, you know, and it's like, you know, it's a lot more. The Bottle Rocket was his first, right?
Yeah, Bottle Rocket was first. Yeah.
So. You know, it's like their style or tone, or you know, I mean, even like early Tarantino versus late Tarantino changes a bit, you know. So, but you know, Pee Wee though, like I remember the TV show when it came out and being kind of like, that's weird. I can't seem to look away, and yet I don't know if I'm entertained by this. You know, it was like I was kind of torn by it. But the movies really for me is what like solidified that character and kind of brought it to this, I don't know, another level for me.
Right.
So,
Well, it was his character was ageless, meaning that
yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that any adult child could relate to him.
Yeah.
Or at least enjoyed his character. I mean, maybe not relate to him, but
he had to be 35 at that point doing Pee Wee. I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy.
You look at now like a guy like Blippi on YouTube. You guys probably don't. Do you know Blippi?
No.
No.
He just sold the rights to, I think, for $3 billion, if I'm correct.
$3 billion.
YouTube channel. Yeah, it was some comedian.
$3 billion. So 1 million under what George Lucas sold Star Wars for.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Inflation, man.
Inflation, yeah.
It's a
But
bitch.
my grandkids like him because he's Blippi. Anyway, someone looked that up. I could be way off, but
it just blows my mind, like what people put value into. Because I remember, like when Facebook went public, you know, and like people were like, "Oh, you gonna buy stock in Facebook?" I was like, "Why would I? It doesn't make anything, you know." But then, you know, and it tanked at first, but now it's a pretty good stock, I think. But I'm not sure.
it was up at first, and then.
But I mean, even Google. Think about
yeah.
Google. Like, I mean, it's like at face value, it's like, what do they make? It's
What do they
just
make?
a search engine.
That's all it is.
That's it. And
well,
yet,
they make,
it has become so much. It's become so much more.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it seems so basic, like a search engine. It's basically the fucking yellow pages of the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't that crazy though? Like,
yeah.
you know, that's what's crazy to me of like the roads people don't take. You know, it's like, because what if Walmart or Sears had done Amazon before Amazon?
Right.
You know, or it's like things that you're like, it seems like no brainers now.
Yeah.
You're like, why didn't, you know? Because Sears, I mean, to this day, like, you know, they haven't made it in 40 years, but you know, the Sears wish book that would come every Christmas, you know.
But by that point, they were so focused on print, that is the way that it's done, that it's like everything points in this direction, and we're a bunch of ageless white men that have been in this position forever. Why would we ever look into anything else than what we've always done, where it's basically like a loaf of white bread, you know, aging in an office? You know, it's like, why would they ever think of anything else?
Wouldn't that get moldy?
It would, and in decays eventually. So
I was
apparently,
I had my Hulu Live on the other day, and it was on the History Channel, which I haven't watched in years. But they had like a whole day of this really good series, which I'd never seen. It was something like the history of like major products or something. Oh yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I put that in my. Sorry for everyone out there. He's showing us a ginger beer bottle. Like I put that in my.
It's not red.
Moscow Mules. Yeah, like that's good. That's
I'm just drinking it Moscow-less.
Moscow-less, yeah. But you know, like the one that stuck with
vodka.
me. There's a couple of them, but like the one that stuck with me was the invention of like American foods. And like when you think of American foods, what you think of is like hamburgers and hot dogs. And that was the episode about
bologna.
It was about Nathan's Hot Dogs and White Castle, and like how they got their start. And it was really a good hour documentary of, you know, the guy who did White Castle had been making these little meatballs and kind of like grilling them onto a sandwich. And then some guy came in and was impatient and wanted his food. So he said, fine. And like he smashed the meatball down to create that little patty, you know, and the slider. And so he, you know, of course he said bread was more expensive, but dinner rolls were cheap. So, you know, and he basically, that's how he came up with the slider. And I was like, that's really, really cool. And then a real estate guy and him partnered up and then expanded out White Castle, which was the very first fast food chain in America.
And the real estate guy said, those fries can only come in one size.
And then Nathan's Hot Dogs were neat because he works for the guy who actually invented the hot dog. And
Oh.
but the hot dogs at that time were considered, just rubbish, like just all the crap, and no one ate.
Yeah, it was.
Today
like-
it's not.
It was like
yeah,
Scrapple.
it's
right?
but it was like mostly like filler and fat and just crap, and
Well, how did they come up with the shape?
I don't know. They don't get into the shape. They just talk about how this was the guy who invented the hot dog. I mean, because you had bratwurst and you had sausages.
Yeah,
so
they're like
Yeah, I
links,
guess
and
that's
then
true,
they cut
but-
them off.
Yeah,
the
so he probably
casing,
just-
you always
yeah,
have
he-
the casing of the.
I mean, because I've never looked at a bunch of different meats and go, yeah, I could make another food out of this. I could make.
Hey,
This
these
could be
assholes
something.
right here
yeah,
make
you
really
have
great
no idea.
cheap
Yeah.
meat, and kids will love it.
There's something about a hot dog at a baseball game, though.
Absolutely. But that's what he's saying is like you have Nathan's hot dogs to thank for the adaptation of people eating hot dogs. Because it's a neat story of how he basically apprenticed for this guy. He learned how to do it, and then set up his Pennsylvania Scrapple, and he set his business up 2 buildings down from the guy who trained him, and sold it for a nickel a hot dog versus a dime. But even then, he was still failing because no one trusted hot dogs, and
Because of the shape.
well, just because they didn't know what was in them, and only two things allowed him to be successful. So the first thing is that he advertised at all the local medical universities of New York that if you come by wearing your whites, you eat for free.
Oh, wow.
And so watching other people seeing a doctor eat a hot dog made them go, okay, if he's eating it, I'll eat it. But the main success was the Great Depression. So because, if you're selling a cheap meal for a nickel, it's like that's what really made him successful. I was like, oh, that's makes total sense.
We're rewatching Ted Lasso right now, just the family, and that part came up where he meets Nathan and he says, "Love your hot dogs."
right.
There's so many like witty like little one-liner like dialogue bits that like as you watch that show again and again, and even like now with it ended, it's like you really kind of see it kind of unfold, in a new way, or you're like, oh, hey, this person's gonna end up, doing this, so it's I don't know, it's been enjoyable, especially the witty one-liners that you're kind of like, oh, I missed that. Like there's a whole part in season 2 I totally missed them mentioning Welcome to Wrexham. They don't mention the show, but they mention the owners, Rob McClure and Ryan Reynolds, like buying they mentioned the Wrexham team in season 2. It's just like it's like a throwaway line because you're so focused on Rebecca's doing that when he comes in and mentions it, you're just like, huh? Wait, what? He just said welcome to Wrexham. You're like, it's right here. Go watch it. Anyway,
nice.
So
sounds like a good show.
Yeah, it's been on my to watch list on my TV forever. I haven't.
Oh, the Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah. No, it's,
no, I was talking about Ted Lasso.
Oh,
yeah. No, it is solid. So, well, and I think there's going to be another season with that too. So,
with Ted Lasso?
No. With
Wrexham.
Rectum.
Yeah.
Rectum. Damn near Rectum.
Everything else, basically the rumors are just spin-off. So, which makes the most sense. Yeah, of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Is it worth the risk? Can the spinoff be as good as the original?
Hey,
does it have to be as good as the original?
Well, you take Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul. I mean, that's
that's the thing. Is it like
Cheers, Frasier?
I think if you do spinoffs, they have to be their own thing. They have to be completely different.
They have to have their own DNA.
Because Better Call Saul is completely different than Breaking Bad.
It's not even close.
And both are good. What was I gonna say? Something about what you were talking about, Matt.
Did you finish Breaking Bad?
Yeah. You just forgotten, but or maybe you might have been gone during your hiatus when I said that.
Oh, that you when you finished it. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember you started it. I
Yeah.
just don't remember you finishing it. So
Yeah, like it was good. Yeah. Oh, I remember because I remember you asked me what I thought about the Fly episode, and
mhm,
that was the one I didn't like, and you like it. And but
yeah.
no, I enjoyed Breaking Bad a lot. I mean, it was good. I don't think it gets the praise. I think it's overpraised. I think it's great. I think it's definitely easily in the top 20 shows of all time. But I don't think it's when people make it out to be like the greatest show ever. I'm like, well, it's
Do you
good.
think some of that has like just changed because of time, like you coming to it now, or building it up that long?
I didn't build it up. I mean, because I just knew what
No,
it
no,
was.
but other people were building. We
I
built
think,
it up.
yeah,
mean,
I think
other
people build it up. It's like us with Lost or any other show. Like when you're a part of a community or if you watched it week by week, it has a
Sure.
different weight to it than if you just binge it.
Well, I mean, season 6 of Lost being what it is, I still,
Mhm.
still love that journey,
Mhm.
and all of those, like how each has its own. But yeah, I mean, like Breaking Bad. I think the only thing about the last season, if you were watching it, is the pacing of it, because they did split it up, for budgetary
Oh,
reasons.
okay.
So I wonder if the pacing of that last season feels a little bit more disjointed, and if they would have just gone straight through and did it, because um, there, that last season of Breaking Bad and how things go down with Hank and the desert and all of that stuff. Like I really enjoyed watching that unfold.
That was good. You hated it.
Ozymandias, yeah.
You knew that was going to come to a head at some point because Hank was just not going to let it go. He was so righteous, and
yeah, and I mean, it had been kind of, I don't know. It's like of all the characters, like,
well, his wife also got a little fucked over because of.
Well, and then his wife got into like kleptomania, and he was into rocks.
Yeah.
But maybe you might have been on that episode because I talked. Yeah, I know you were on that one episode. I was talking about Breaking Bad versus Better Call Saul, and then I hated in Breaking Bad the two main women characters, which were but in Breaking Bad he finally learned how to write a woman character, because I felt that the writer.
You mean Better Call Saul?
In Better Call Saul, sorry, yeah. In Better Call Saul, I felt that the women are written equally, as in like they're strong, they're good characters. They have their own morals and their own motivations. Whereas in Breaking Bad, I felt he showed the worst side of feminism, and I detested both of those characters for that reason. But I don't know. That's my opinion. But
I don't think I just don't remember. I mean, I could have been rebooting when you told us.
Mm-hmm. Right. But no, I mean,
that's a callback to the three of us, because apparently somebody had to reboot before we started this.
Well,
I hated that
or at
show
least turn it
canceled
on
too. Reboot on
on Hulu.
Hulu, they got canceled. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I tried it. I was into it for a few episodes, and then I just got kind of bored with it.
That's funny how that, because like even Foundation that's on Apple, like season 2's out now. I've watched the first episode, but it's one of those shows that I know is good, but it just doesn't have. It's too dry. It's just very serious, kind of time travel politics. And there's no levity at all in the show. There's no humor. And so like to me, it's one of those like it's a chore to watch now. Where I'm just
it's like the Ramblecast. There's no humor.
No, to Nick's point though, like watching sci-fi, and I've mentioned this, I think maybe in the last couple episodes, but my kids and I, we've been watching a lot of Star Trek, or we've been into Star Trek quite a bit, and so we've been watching Strange New Worlds because I got them hooked on Star Trek through Lower Decks. And Lower Decks is just a fun cartoon. Like, even if you know this much about Star Trek, I think Jack would enjoy it because it makes fun of itself along the way, and you don't have to know everything, so you can kind of get the jokes. And then if you know some of the other stuff, it's even funnier on that stuff too. So anyway, that stuff aside, Strange New Worlds has that bit of humor to it. It'll have some seriousness, and it definitely has those plot threads. But whereas Discovery doesn't have that outlet of the humor, and I think it's something that you just need that. It breaks the tension, and anytime you can laugh at something, all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm on for the next part of this roller coaster. It's like an exhale, in some way, and but there's a lot of cool stuff with time travel and Star Trek that I'm really enjoying. So, anyway, sorry, side tangent on that, but that idea of humor and what that can kind of bring to something. So I was told to watch Foundation, and I was kind of on the fence,
Yeah, Foundation season 1. The thing is that it skips like hundreds of years, back and forth, and so that's already a chore trying to keep up with like when is this happening, and there's, like I said, there's not any humor in it. It's all just like, hey, like this is an empire here, and then these people were rebels, and they kind of started their own colony, like way out, and it's just a lot of stuff that's going on.
Go ahead.
And there's elements to it that are really good in season 1, where you're like, oh, okay, now I'm invested. But it's kind of like with the show that Chris and I watched. Matt, you might have too. The one that was
Silo.
No, not Silo.
No,
I like
okay.
Silo. No, the ones that it got canceled after season 2. The one with
Manifest.
No, it was on HBO. Wolves, Raised by Wolves.
Oh yeah, I didn't get into that.
Yeah, like Raised by Wolves season 1 was good to a certain point, because I was really invested with the 2 robots raising children to try them to be human. Which that's a weird concept. Like, how is a robot going to raise a child to be a human? And then at the end of season 1, it's like, okay, this is pretty good. And then season 2, it just went down a different road of these. It went from being like atheists to Christians. Like there's another colony, and then it was just, and it kind of changed where the show was going to where I was like, I'm not really interested as much in this anymore.
Right. Like it's like the theme of that season almost kind of changed the plot of the show.
Yeah. And so I wasn't into it. And then I think a lot of people weren't either, because that's why I got canceled after season 2. Okay. It just wasn't the same.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of shows, is they don't know how to keep it going.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that show? Was it Revolution? Where the power goes out, and the first season was actually pretty good. But then the second season was just, all right, they fight, they lose, they fight, they lose, they fight, they win, they fight. It just
right. Yeah, you can only do so many like back and forth.
Yeah, it kind of lost its steam, and I go, okay, I'm bored with this now. And plus, the girl was an ugly crier, and I couldn't watch it anymore.
Sure, ugly criers for sure.
But I was going to say though, because Nick, you were saying the show has no humor. It's rare for a show not to have some kind of humor in it. Even I was thinking of shows where you guys were talking. Your serious drama shows even have a little bit of humor every now and then.
Oh yeah.
I think it's,
you have to.
I think to be honest with you, it's almost a mistake not to have any humor in a show.
Yeah,
at least once in a while, because if now you're depending on everything hinges on people buying the story.
Yeah. Well, and just tonally speaking, I guess like you can have some, but I don't know, everything.
Even going back to like what Jack, just finished, Succession. That show, for a lot of it, is very serious and a lot of mean motherfuckers, but there is a lot of humor in it too, and that's what it teeters back and forth in a good, edge of a blade, which is really good.
Yeah, he said
exactly.
Sopranos and The Wire had some of the funniest moments in TV history. Yeah. It did. Sometimes it just comes out of the blue, and you're like going, "Oh, that's right. This is a it's not a comedy." But
I remember when Tropic Thunder came out, that movie, and some of the funniest parts of it are before the movie even starts, which are the fake previews for these actors. And I remember my sister and I watching it, and we were the only ones laughing in the theater because everyone else thought they were real previews. Especially the one with Tobey Maguire and Robert Downey Jr. is what was it called? but it was basically where like two monks are having a gay affair within the church, and you hear all these like when a time to be righteous is to be sinful, like all these weird like moments, it's like, and then the last thing you hear is someone whisper like, "Father, I've been a bad boy," and it was just so funny.
Forgive me, Father, I have sinned.
Right? Yeah. But that's right. I love any kind of just. To me, I thought Tropic Thunder was brilliant. I mean,
are we allowed to say though we like it?
Yes. If
you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get canceled. I'm just saying.
The guy behind you has been wanting to cancel you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
When you put RCAD Crisis Grows, did you make that before you knew Chris wasn't going to show up?
Gents, I did not know. Actually, I just said something serious.
Gents, I do not know.
So, Crisis Grows was something. Was about the economy, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I just put RCAD Crisis Grows. I just I want to do it as fast as possible.
That's what she said.
So yeah, when are we going to record? Okay, we're recording it this day. Okay, I'm going to put it up and boom, and try to keep people happy. Same bat time, same bat station.
Oh, same
that's
bat.
Right. That's what I put on the Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Pretty clever.
Pretty clever.
Pretty clever.
Almost as clever as fitting in a commercial break.
God. Okay.
So you were saying?
I saw Oppenheimer.
Oh, what'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It's just a tad long.
It is.
Especially for someone like me whose body cannot sit for a long time.
Well, it's almost 3 hours.
Cramping. Yeah, I was cramping. My body was hurting. I was like going, please just blow up the world. Can we? If
you think that is bad, think about the people that had a radiation from a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about that for a second. I said, yeah, those poor people in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That was bad,
even in the U.S.
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
So, the soldiers that they had,
soldiers, Native Americans,
and families that lived close by.
Yeah.
Hey, just we'll give you this tag. We'll give you this little piece of paper. If it lights up, you better go get some attention.
Yeah.
No, that was bad. I just thought it was a little long.
It is. Yeah.
The sex scene, I was expecting more the way you guys were talking.
Well, no, it's not gratuitous or lengthy, but it's just one of those things where
you're talking about the second one, right?
The both of them. The thing is that like you get. At least, I mean, Chris was arguing against it, but like to me, it's like I get the importance of her character and that you need to establish that he flirted with the Communist Party and people within the Communist Party because he liked them intellectually,
Right.
But what was the point of coming back to this character if the character at this point is showing no value in terms of his thinking or motivations?
But I think it did. I think it did affect him. Without spoiling people, I think it did affect him because the way how emotional he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, because the whole time the second sex scene, I'm like going, well, I get why they probably put it in there to get people talking and people go, to make the movie, free advertisement or whatever, especially social media. Oh, it's got that sex scene in there. Oh, I want to go see the sex scene. But it was, to me, I was like going, okay. The first one I thought was okay because it's
fine,
a couple.
Yeah.
The second one I'm like going, okay, I can see where people might be a little questioning, but I go, he was kind of going through his whole life during that whole.
Well,
I mean, his mind was wandering elsewhere while they were talking to him.
Here's one of the issues I had a little bit about that line, that very subtle line in the plot is. Yeah, okay. He found an attractive woman with Florence Pugh, no problem. And then you see him flirting with his future wife, who's a married woman at the time. And it's
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yeah, but it's done subtly. And then in the third act or the later half of the film, you see like someone protesting against him who's says you were only friends with him to seduce his wife or something, and you hear him say like. Jokingly, he never knew, and I was like,
yeah.
So I was like, are you trying to establish that he was a morally loose person? and to me, it was not. It was something that was just kind of thrown out there, but not implied heavily. So like I said, I only saw it the one time. But
well, they said he was. They said he was a womanizer. So
yeah, okay. So
I think they said. I think they said it in the movie.
Okay.
Oh,
one of the characters said it.
Nick doesn't hear those things.
But again, I thought it was good. I just could have knocked like 20, 25 minutes off it.
Yeah.
Matt Treese is confirming in the chat he was a womanizer.
He was a womanizer. Okay.
When do we invite Sherry back? Because I think she's trying to say spoiler.
Okay, we done with Oppenheimer?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, when you're done talking about... Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm done with Oppenheimer.
We're done talking about Oppenheimer. I would like to mention that I think Barbie was the superior movie, even though I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I'm just basing that on
I've heard good things about Barbie movie.
Barbie
I don't know what it's about.
So good. It was.
I thought it'd be fake and kind of plastic, but
it was very, very funny, and it goes a lot deeper than what I thought it was going to be. Like I just was like, oh, this is just going to be for, but it was good, and
did you?
I know there's going to be those people and their Mojo Dojo Casa houses out there, all those Kens of the world. They're going to be like, fuck that movie, fuck them. I dare them. I dare them to go and watch it.
Are the Kens ones that their dicks are chopped off?
I don't know. There's just a bunch of people that have a hard time about this movie, and not for the right reasons. I don't know.
Well, I don't know anything about the movie, so I don't know why people would.
Because there's people that just want to be upset about stuff in the world. So
okay,
it's funny, it's good, and I got to see it at a different theater. I usually go to kind of like one of your regular Regal or AMC's. This time I went to one that was downtown, kind of more like what you've been to, Jack, where you can have a drink and you can order food and stuff like that. What is the one that you go to?
Alamo Drafthouse.
Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah, we don't have an Alamo Drafthouse, but the one on Mass Ave, downtown Indy, has got a.
I'm always afraid to have a drink at a movie theater because, especially at something like Oppenheimer, that's 3 hours long, is like I'm gonna have to pee, and I don't like. I remember what movie? There was a movie that came out a few years back. Oh, it was one of the Avengers movies that was like 3 hours long. It was either Endgame or the other one, and people actually had done their homework and said, "Okay, if you have to take a pee break, do it exactly at this moment," because it was like you can miss like this 3-minute part right here, and it was like, okay, good to know.
I know. I saw it at Raleigh Grand. That's Jay and Colleen's theater, and they actually watched Barbie afterwards. But we picked up their kids, and Cindy took them swimming. Then when I was done with the movie, I took them swimming. They brought me all the way back home. Then they turned around, and went back to the same theater.
Oh,
because they had to watch Barbie afterwards. But we saw it at the first was like 9:10 was the movie. So I was a little tired because Sunday's my sleeping day. So I'll be honest, I was a little tired. So I was trying not to doze off a couple times.
I'll tell you what, Barbie did not put me to sleep, and I never felt like it was too long. It was just the perfect amount of time.
Perfect pace.
It had perfect pace, and I was laughing, and I don't know. It was so much fun, I think, after I left and being able to kind of like even talk about it with my family. So, yeah.
Jackson Gladfelder says, I watch Mission Impossible before the train scenes when I go for the toilet break.
Yeah.
All right. So that we'll know that because Mission Impossibles are about 2.5 hours long, right?
Yeah. It's long as well. Yeah. Actually, every movie, we think about Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, like they're all really long features.
I read something that I just saw. I didn't blurb. Might have been on Twitter that AMC had their best weekend in like 93 years or something like that. I mean, I don't know if that's possible, but since maybe 1993. I don't know, because they had Barbie and Oppenheimer, and like I said, when we went to movies at 9:10, it was packed.
Yeah.
I said, "Come on, people, you sinners! This is supposed to be the Bible Belt. Go to church."
I actually feel a little, but not too much, sorry for Disney, because
Fuck Disney
is just run by the most incompetent people in the world. Because Haunted Mansion is completely bombing, And it's like,
Right.
dude, you don't put Haunted Mansion
Right.
after Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Barbie, when
Right.
people wanted to go see that. It's like they're not going to go.
Remember the thing about Solo.
Right.
I mean, Solo like fucked the Star Wars movie franchise from trying to cram them too closely together. And I think that the way that the movie theater is going, it is for the experience.
Do you think?
And the fact that you had this Barbie Oppenheimer release where people on social media were doing both and they were wanting to see both, having even those two extremes, like oh, this is more of an intense, documentary about this time period in this person's life, so and something that spoke, as Will put it, like I thought it was funny, not as funny as my wife found it, but funny. Yes, it definitely speaks to women on a deeper level.
It's not made for us. It's not made for. We're not the target audience. Yeah.
No, but yet there's messages there for us as the other gender. So, but anyway, I agree though with the Haunted Mansion, because the Haunted Mansion looked interesting. I'd seen
the previews looked interesting.
Like I'm all for it.
I mean, you got Danny DeVito and Owen Wilson. You got a pretty good cast.
Yeah, and Rosario Dawson is also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no,
I was gonna say, you think Disney, because Matt kind of touched on it, not you, Matt, that Matt Treese, about training people to go to the theater instead of it being on a streaming service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quick.
Exactly.
But do you like Disney? It's like, okay, we'll put this in the theater. Anything we make from it is gravy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to put it on our Disney Plus channel, because that's where the money is. That's where we want to make. That's where we want to make the mint, because we want people subscribing. Because we don't care if people watch. We just want people to subscribe.
But they're losing out though.
I get that, I'm saying from a business standpoint. I mean, Sydney and I just realized we had 2 Paramount Plus accounts. We still don't know how the other one got started. And I'm like I didn't sign up for it. Why would I sign up for it on your email? So we finally canceled the one, and then we got an extension on the other 2 because of the.
Now I had this mix-up occur because I have my Roku signed in, and I have an email that I use for my Roku, and I use another email for some of the other apps. And recently Roku, I don't know where I clicked agree upon on this. Basically, they were like, oh, we're forcing you to use this email for these other apps that you are using on our service. So it automatically was like, oh, we saw that you were using 2 different emails, so we're just going to flip you. And it was HBO Max that did this to me, where all of a sudden I had an old email. We'll just say my email ended in at Mac. And I had another one that was at Gmail. And all of a sudden they were like, we're flipping this over to the at Mac. Well, the at Gmail is the one that I use to pay everything. But the Roku's also, I think, the at Mac account. Right? I'll just say, I don't know. So anyway, it did something to me where I was just like, what the hell? And so I just shut it all down. I just was like, fuck this. Like, I'm canceling both. And until I want it back, I'm not going back to your service. And
I've been listening to this commercial for like the last 6 months about what they do is you sign up and they check and see if you have too many accounts of something, if you have double account. I go, who the fuck needs this? Well, I guess I do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was just like going, she was it was like back in April. I go, why would I go, I haven't even been on Paramount Plus in like 4 or 5 months. Since regular shows went off the air, I haven't been using. I've been doing I'm watching The Office.
They had all the Mission Impossibles on there too.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, okay, I haven't really watched it. Why would I sign up for it? So we don't know if someone just hacked us, or like you're just saying, Matt, did they just click on and did we click something and is it okay? We're signing up.
Did you forget to like, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, but I've had multiple ones too, because like, especially when I cut the cable, because like when you signed up for Comcast or Xfinity or whatever, like if you're going to get HBO, you came with HBO Go or whatever it was at the time, and so you have those accounts. And so when I completely cut from cable and then started just doing internet apps only, it still would remember those old accounts. So it would come in and be like, oh, this one's called just Nick, whereas in the new one's Nicholas. And so it's like, oh, okay, I need to. And so that could be one of the reasons too. At least it was for me.
It's just I don't know. I think we're paying more now that we cut cable than we were.
It's
before.
getting up there. Yeah. I mean, that's there's so many things. I'm like, I'm not paying for Peacock. I'm not getting Paramount Plus. I'm just doing what I have to get. Because there's definitely some shows I would like to watch. I would love to watch I can't remember what it's called. But some of the things that are on Stars or things that are on Showtime, I'm like, I'm not paying.
But I think
AMC Plus.
I think mixing it up though, and definitely like I'll shut down. Like I've shut down a couple of them, but it's like I think for me though, I also provide some for some of my family members, so I'm just kind of like I'm the hub for a couple. It's fine. So
I was the hub for Chris for a while, I think, on Hulu.
Yeah.
And then one day he texted me, "Did you cancel Hulu?" I was like, I go, "Yeah, a while ago." Oh, I forgot that he was using it.
Well, a lot of times I'd use my podcasting money to just pay for, but at some point, between the podcasting money not being as much and and having a lot more
hint patrons hit
no, thank you for patrons that make this possible, because you do offset some of my
now we can afford Peacock the $4.99, but we have to watch the commercials.
I will not watch the commercials.
I don't have any commercials anymore.
Look, you do you, Jack. I just feel like
I don't have
life
any
is
more
too short for me to fuck around with this like bullshit commercials. Like I will pay the $2 or whatever.
Heck yeah.
So like and to that point, I will drop an app because you can always pick them up for a month. There's they have not done the cable game of like you have to subscribe to this for so long. The only thing that's really good is if you can get the deals where it's just like sign up now and get 3 months for this long, and then you drop them when you're done. I think setting timers or reminders for yourself, like cancel it before, or when you get the bill, when you get that email that says, oh, you just paid for this month, go on that app and cancel it for that. You know what? You've already paid for this month. So you might as well just cancel, and then you won't get that hit again.
We got charged a full month from AT&T internet, even though we canceled it 3 weeks early. So I got to call them and say, "Hey, I should only had to pay for a week. Why am I paying for a whole month?"
Fee or all? Yeah, like.
And Sherry mentions, did you flash that up on the?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say like I do this as well. An Apple, you have a settings called subscriptions, and you can cancel it right there. So and it makes it easy. So,
but it's like when my water pipes burst, and I said turn off my water. When back in January I said turn off my water. They charged me like $30 to turn off my water. Then I had no water for 6 months, and they were still charging me $56 a month, even though I was not using water, because it's admin fees and all that other bullshit.
Taxes,
yeah. And then when I finally said, okay, turn it back on.
Yeah, they're gonna charge you.
They charged me to turn it back on. It was like a $90-something bill.
Fuck.
Even though I didn't use the water that month, it was the admin fees with the fee for them to turn it back on. Like, you motherfuckers.
That's like our gas bill. It's $12 a month. We only use gas for heat.
Yeah,
that's all we use gas for, and it's like it's $12 a month. So I said, okay, let's get it back in November, and then whenever it gets warm again, we'll cancel it. Well, they finally got wise, and so now if we do it,
don't you have it for your hot water heaters?
No, the only thing that's gas is our heater.
So you have an electric.
Our water heat is everything else is electric. Now I wish it was all gas because it'd be cheaper, but I was for a couple of years I would cancel it and start back up again. Well, they said, well, we're gonna have to charge you a deposit if you cancel it again. So the deposit was actually more than what we'd pay. And I'm just like, I go, holy crap, Sherry. I keep wanting to cancel my DirecTV $300 plus
Jesus.
a month. Your comments are making
what?
Oh
Is
my
that,
God.
is that your internet included as well? Or is that just everything?
Oh my God.
That's
Sherry, you need help.
I mean that's kind of what that's the thing is that my internet is like 90 something a month, and then then I have like probably 200 worth of Hulu plus, with all my live TV and then all my additional apps. It's roughly $300 a month, for
I don't
my
feel
internet
so bad
and TV. Now. It's probably 200 something, but it's close to 300. But that's what I was paying for cable and everything else too. So it's like,
Well, I think my internet's about 70.
Ours is
70 a month. So
it does include internet. Okay, 300. Then you're fine, Sherry.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Just keep direct.
Does that include like the NFL package and everything else?
It's everything. Yeah.
That's the whole.
Because I finally had it with DirecTV. I had them for the longest time, but I just told them basically to fuck off. And the worst part was I bought the thing that the controller thing they gave us eventually just stopped working. So I went and bought one at Best Buy. They said when I canceled, they said I had to give them that. I said, but I bought this. They're going round and round and round and round. I go, I have I said, you know what? Come pick it up. I go, I'm not putting I think I still have it in the attic or something like that. So we were going round and round with it. I go, I'm not paying for this.
Yeah. That's what always blew my mind about getting like internet through Comcast or one of those providers. They would give you like the modems, the routers, and all this stuff like that. And they would never take them back. They're like, oh, like, yeah, you can just keep it. I'm like, well, what the fuck am I going to do with this shit? They're like, well, we don't need it.
I just sent my AT&T back modem because they
NHL
had
hockey.
NHL hockey subscription.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
I just
all
said
year
because they wanted that back. I said okay, so I had to take it to the local UPS store, which former mailbox, etc. But then Cindy wanted me to mail something to Social Security for her. I said okay, it just needed a stamp, but I didn't. I don't have any. Who has stamps anymore? And so at this UPS store, I go, hey, can I buy this postage for this? They go, sure. He puts it on a thing. It was $1.05.
Right.
I go, I don't know what a stamp. I don't even know what a stamp is anymore. It's like what, 47 cents?
Yeah, I think it's 47. It might have gone up to 52 now, but yeah.
Okay, either way, I paid $1.05 to mail like that because I didn't have a stamp. Now I didn't argue because I used to own one of those stores, and when you charge more for postage, people just went, that's illegal. You can't charge more for a stamp. I go, so what are stamp collectors? Are they allowed to charge more? It's not the same thing. I go, it's a stamp. It's the same thing, isn't it? Stamp. 67 cents to mail a letter now?
That's crazy.
Holy shit. Really?
I've got so many forever stamps.
I know.
I'm rich in forever stamps.
Remember when those came out? Like if anyone had half a brain, just buy them in bulk. Then,
well, I mean, I still I have a bunch of Bugs Bunny stamps. I love those. I use those like on special
67 cents.
That's what's crazy is like there's so many things that people that are born in like the mid 90s on will never experience. Like to them, even using snail mail is probably weird. Mm-hmm. But like the fact that they will never realize that there was a time before forever stamps where you just needed one stamp is like I remember like having to have like, oh, here's a 22-cent stamp plus like 5-cent stamps and like having like the whole train of stamps down a damn letter.
I can remember my mom putting coins on an envelope, leave it up to the mailman, and the mailman would put the stamps on for her. I mean,
you tape the coin on the stamp.
It was like 5 cents, a nickel or 6 cents, whatever it was back in the day when it was, when the mail carrier cared about his job.
My my mom saved stamps because she would where she worked at, she would get all of these international stamps, and so she would save them, and so. After she had passed, I was going through her stuff and I found all of them. And so
Sherry says she only buys forever stamps. Well, that makes sense. You had a $300 DirecTV bill.
Yeah.
Hey, does that NHL subscription come with the in-home service package?
These are stamps.
I don't have
where do you want this cable?
For the longest time, I had like 20 forever stamps. And
I
didn't
think
use them.
that's all they sell now is forever.
Yeah,
I think they're always an
you can't like.
But then but people, family members, hey, do you have a stamp? Sure. Now I finally did a stamp. I don't have one. $1.05 though. $1.05. And he kind of looked at me. He goes, "That would be $1.05." I go, "Okay." And as I was leaving, I had Hayden with me, one of my grandkids. And so we're walking out there, and this lady in a big old Chevy, I think it was a Chevy truck, one of those old Chevy trucks, the big ones.
Sure.
They're with the 70s. And this area to park is a pain in the ass. I mean, it's really tight. There's not a lot of room there. And she's trying to pull into this parking space, and the car that she hits is like a foot over the yellow line. I mean, it's not even in. And I go, what is she trying? I'm like, what is she trying? I can see her, and my grandson's, what? I go, she's going to hit that car. Sure. She hits the car, and I go, whoa. And then she's got her windows up. Well, and then she's like freaking out. I go, okay. And then she's backing in. So I walk to my car, and I'm watching her make sure she doesn't drive away.
Yeah.
And she comes over to me. I go, okay, she's going to go all Karen on me. I got my grandson. Don't yell at me in front of my grandson. And she was out there, but she's like, do you know who owns that car? I go, I don't know who owns that car. She goes, you don't know? I thought you said you know who owns that car. No, I just said, whoa.
Sounds like she was on some pills.
Oh, yeah. She was, and it's funny. Her truck was so beaten up. This is not the first time she's hit another car.
Right.
And to give her credit, she went around trying to find the person. Then the person came walking out. I go, okay, I can leave because, yeah. She was like, her eyes were like really wide, and she's like,
I'm imagining a dog.
Her hair was just like she got electrocuted.
Dog,
I mean, I was just like going, oh my God, she's going to come over here and stab me in front of my grandson.
Yep.
But no, I wanted to say, I go, why were you trying to park in that parking space? And on the other side of it, and we're not talking a big lot. I mean, it's 15 feet. There were like 5 parking spaces over there. She could have easily just parked into, but she tries to squeeze into this one. I go, oh, and she put a good dent in the car. And I'm like, going, anyway,
I saw a video today. I rarely laugh out loud, but it was kind of not the same, but there's a white car driving down the road, and some homeless guy or just guy on drugs picks up a rock and just throws it at the car, and it hits the car, and the car just stops, sits there for a minute, and then turns, goes across the street, and then just
into the sidewalk.
Yeah, and then like hits the guy on the sidewalk who threw the rock, and it's not like a subtle hit. It's like full on ram. The guy goes airborne.
Yeah,
but then he walks away from it, which you're like, damn, like I couldn't get over.
Well,
that.
People are more flexible nowadays.
Fuck around with homeless people in Colorado, though.
It wasn't in Colorado. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in this was like Fort Collins.
No, it was just somewhere on Instagram or Facebook.
No, I've seen that video because he's throwing rocks at all the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy goes, "Fuck you." I mean, you can't. I'm pretty sure though, it's not legal to run someone over with a car.
No, of course not.
unless it's self-defense.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the argument. I guess the argument could be made.
I mean, it's
you get hit in the head with a rock, you could die.
Well, that's like the argument, because you've seen like all these environmental people now blocking the roads in Europe. Is that there was a woman that was in labor, and they were blocking the road. They would not move, and that's what they were saying is that at any other time you can't do anything, but if it's an emergency situation, it is technically self-defense at that point that you can run them over, because it's your life versus their life, and they're breaking the law anyway.
They had a couple people who glued their epoxy glued their hands, and they had to be cut off the street because their hands were stuck to the street. I'm like,
I've seen pictures where people's hands are still concrete. Yeah, and
you're like, I was like going, okay, I get it, you're doing it for the cause, but don't be a dumbass, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
But no, I get the frustration because those people, when they're blocking you see people get up and just chuck them.
Yeah,
just get the fuck out of my way.
Well,
it should
be I'm
You're
not
not
sure
scoring-
what the law
you're
would
not-
be, but you shouldn't be allowed to do that because it's a hazard to you and other people as well. Because how many times have you been on the road where people just like it's an accident and you slam and it's just it's a
Chain
domino
reaction.
effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
No, I get it's for the cause. I get it, but you're something like that. I don't think you're going to gain anybody by pissing them off.
you're just pissing them off. Yeah, that's all
Yeah,
you're doing.
it's-
Is just pissing them off.
It's like any sympathy I had for you. Now you're just pissing me off.
Sure.
'Cause I get it. If people want to protest, but I think there's better ways to do it.
Like throw rocks at cars.
Hey, cars,
Exactly.
smoke some
I said-
Get
crack.
out there,
throw
throw
some
your
rocks.
rocks at your cars. All
your
you
rocks
want. I
off.
mean,
Pee on them. Take a dump.
who
on 'em.
hasn't?
Yeah, because
peed on a car
sometimes you
Carved it
got
up
to.
with a-
Sometimes you just got to relieve yourself. And
Speaking of relieving myself, I think the cat litter situation is a-okay.
Ooh.
Like
All right.
he's getting
I-
used to the
I'm-
new.
I'm glad you
Litter
told me that
box.
'cause I didn't sleep all week.
I know you were worried. You were
I
like,
just
"What's
can't-
happening?"
I just kept the mental image of you squatting in a box, trying to show the cat.
This is how you do it, Mauser.
This is how you do it. And then the cat freaking out because it's like, that's supposed to be mine. Yeah. Look at
No.
the size of that thing.
He-
Whoa!
so he hears it go off, and he's just like, "What is that thing?" And so he was sleeping just today, and I was just like calming him down, and I went over, turned it on, just kept petting him so he could hear it in the background because it kind of makes a whooshing noise. And if cats are notorious for being afraid of snakes,
Yeah.
so or even the rustling sounds like a hiss. So he hears this like the because it's a drum, and as it moves around, the litter kind of goes as it falls. So he's thinking, what the fuck's over there? Like, I think it's alive. So anyway, after doing that, I went upstairs, and then it notifies me on my phone. And so 5 minutes later, he must have gone up, looked around in it, and then it set it off. And then he was watching it because then he went to look inside of it again, and it stops it. And it even notified me and said, like, you have a curious cat. Like, we've stopped this from, like, it'll resume in like 5 minutes or something.
So is he using the box though?
He is using the box. Yeah, no, he's using the box. It's
All
just
right.
now the next step is like him using the box with a robot as his master.
I'm just picturing it as a howl, like from 2001. I just need the eye above it, and you get the notification.
Mauser.
Hello, Matt. Hello, Matt.
It's
Your
more
cat-
like-
you have a curious cat, Matt.
It's more like the kit thing where it kind of almost goes back and forth. It's like
that's a Cylon.
Oh, like Cylon, yeah.
Cylon. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It starts with the kitty robot and works its way through. It's like maximum or overdrive, where it just like all of the electrical appliances start rising up. Anyway, good stuff though.
Cats, man. Anyway, our cat, we are gone for what, 8-9 days,
Yeah.
and now he's just clumps of hair are everywhere.
Oh,
I
you
said,
need to
"Dude,
brush him.
Stress or
I probably stress. He's a stressful cat. I mean, he's
Well,
clawed, and he's destroyed so many walls here, and like I said, we only have so much carpet, and he's like,
We keep bringing in these grandchildren. I'm sure he's freaked the fuck
well,
out.
he goes and hides, which is fine, but
So
it's
I
not
have
my
one of those-
cat.
I have one of those cat brushes where it's wire bristles, and then on the other side, it's got the rubber bumps. And what you do is, as you brush the cat, all the way through, okay, they get overstimulated, and what they need to do is they need to rub their face and like kind of calm them down. So it's a combination of both. If you continually pet and brush their hair, they get overstimulated, and then that's when they're just like, "Fuck you," right? So you flip it over to the kind of rubber nub part, and you let them kind of do this with their like their face, and they rub it
Okay.
against it,
All right,
and
I'll
it
let Cindy
calms them
know.
down. And then
because
you go
it's not
back
my
to
cat.
rub it, But in the summer months, their hair is all, it wants to shed because they're hot. You know?
Maybe that's what it is because it is summer. It's like 100 degrees out here, and
Yeah, no, the cat's definitely shedding. So,
I mean, it's everywhere. It's like Jesus Christ. I go, I just vacuum because I don't like cat hair.
yeah.
I don't like dog hair. I don't want to see it. Sometimes I'm sleeping at night. I go, did I inhale some cat hair?
Well, I can't stand it. I even like just the dander, even on my hands. Like it just feels like a film. I can't.
Yeah,
It drives me crazy.
I
It's making
just
my eyes itch just thinking about it.
I know.
Again, I've said 100 times. This is our last animal. This is our last pet.
Aw,
I'm done. I don't want to.
I love our dog.
One of y'all
I mean, I
mentioned-
like the cat, and I'm a cat person.
Oh.
But I really love our dog.
I love animals. I just don't want to take care of them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking care of kids, so
You get you say like you got plenty of kids,
and they're both been too young. Well, Hayden and Ashton were both sick. And it's like, oh my god! And Ashton never cries.
What you do is take a wire brush. Just a dad trick here.
Just don't want to overstimulate them.
Brush it down their back.
Shot collars. For
Oh,
the grandkids.
Just
No,
literally for the jugular, you just go.
right.
I don't know. It's just like
Get some dog cages.
Speaking, one of y'all mentioned snakes a second ago. Like,
oh yeah.
That wasn't me. I don't talk about snakes.
Yeah, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Yeah,
I found my first one the other day. It was just a little bitty milk snake, but is in the garage.
What snake?
A milk snake.
A milk snake?
I was it's got nipples. I was just.
You can milk anything with nipples.
Yeah, exactly. No,
snake milk.
A milk snake. They're in North Carolina too, but they look like a coral snake. The red with the little black and yellow stripes on them. And of course, my voice.
Red to black.
Exactly.
Back, Jack. You're gonna be dead, slack.
Yeah, like that was my first when I looked at it as a meal. I said, okay, red next to black, venom black, red next to yellow, kill a fellow. Like that's the rhyme.
Yeah, red next to yellow, kill a fellow.
What is it? I've never heard this. What is it?
Yeah, red next to black, venom black, red next to yellow, kill a fellow, and that's how you know.
So if they have red and yellow.
Red next to yellow.
If the red and the black are together, it's non-venomous.
You're okay, Jack.
But if the yellow is touching the red, then it's venomous, and that's how you know the difference.
Fella.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I've heard it a couple. Yeah, but it's like red next to black. You're okay, Jack. Red next to yellow.
Because I went to the store today, came back, I left my garage open. So I walked back out to get something. I go, did I leave the fucking garage open? There could be snakes because I know they like come in where it's a little cooler. And I'm like,
yeah.
I go, fuck it, because we've had copperheads in our garage before and stuff like that. I had one once that was hanging above my head in the garage on the garage door, and I went, what the hell? Bam!
Oh man, snakes from above is just like the worst.
Because
you see that guy you see that guy that got bitten? He opened up his glass door and he got bit in his head.
Oh shit!
And it wasn't a venomous snake, but when he was running away, he tripped over his walkway. I'm laughing because I just don't like
tripped over his what?
His walkway is
his walkway. Okay.
Steps.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I just don't. As long I know they're out there right now.
Yeah.
Because I see the holes, but as long as I don't see them, we're cool.
Have you seen the video where the snake comes down out of the ceiling fan and the guy's videotaping it?
Yes.
And then at this last second, it flies to you. It's like,
it's because the dumbass put the fan on high and
you see it hitting it. And I'm like, at that point, you back out. You get out of there because it's going to hit that and go. And then, of course, the one place it flies is towards the person. Just
like this.
My sister was at Costco or Sam's Club or one of those places a long time ago, like 20 years ago. And there was a snake apparently while she was driving somewhere on her car, and she got out, but when she shut the door, it got the tail of the snake. And so when she went, did her shopping, came back, it was there like just all over her door, because it was trapped, but it was just like freaking out,
It was pissed.
And my sister is petrified of snakes. And so she freaked out and like all of the employees that had come out of the store to help her and like get rid of the snake and all this stuff. And she would not drive her car for hours until like she knew the snake was completely gone. And,
Wow.
And what's funny is that I knew that story.
How would you have approached the situation?
It's a snake. I wouldn't have cared.
I would have gone in the other way, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm terrified of spiders. Snakes.
Okay.
I don't care about.
Yes. See, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like spiders, but I don't freak out.
Well, there's another story behind that, like why. But anyway, so see, like, hey, look at that. See, Will knows. And that's what's funny is 12 years later, I meet a guy and we're all hanging out at a bar.
I like that Will Fry can corroborate this story live on air.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
That's what you get when you join us live.
Yeah.
That's
12
what you
years
get.
later, though, I meet a guy and he's telling this story to me and a group of other people. Like, I was working at Sam's and this woman starts freaking out about this snake. And I'm just sitting there like laughing my ass off.
Was it Will's roommate?
No, it was just
okay.
Guy. But like, it
was
like,
it Will?
I was like, that's my sister. So it's one of those things. It's just like my sister was famous within the Sam's community.
I bet. I mean, that's like a big deal. Well, I'm sure like the way you made it sound, like if it had its tail trapped in the door, and how that happened without her seeing it go down, like I don't know. That's
was in
wild.
shopping mode.
She was like,
it's Sam's, man. You got to get those big items.
Got to get your game face on. So
yeah, so I'm not a fan of snakes. I agree. I run.
Well, yeah, like my dad is well. He's scared to death. Like I watched him one time waste 12 shotgun shells trying to kill a snake in our yard from the second level of our home. I'm like, fuck. So I just take the gun.
Well, he was just sending notice to the snake.
Yeah, like stay away. Yeah. It's like, are you really that bad of a shot? What the hell?
I know Jay, because Jay said, why are you so afraid of snakes? I go, when I grew up, there was this once a year they played this show, Ricky Tikki Tavi. Mm-hmm. It was about a boy who there was a cobra snake, and what was it? What was Ricky Tikki Tavi? Was a
mongoose.
Mongoose. Mm-hmm. And so the snake was always trying to kill the kid. Okay. I watch this every year. So why would I not be afraid of snakes?
Sure.
Because they're out to kill me. And I don't have a mongoose. So there you go. Yeah. That's why I'm afraid of snakes. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I'm afraid of spiders is because my where I grew up, I didn't have many neighbors. There's plenty around.
So spiders were your friends?
No, like my nearest neighbor, their home was a piece of shit. And it was infested with brown recluse spiders.
Sorry, Will.
Yeah, sorry, Will. It was infested with brown recluse spiders. And
oh my god!
If you've ever seen, don't Google it, anyone out there. But if you've ever seen what a brown recluse spider bite looks like, especially after a few days, it will freak you the fuck out.
You can die from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you don't treat it, yeah.
Or you can get paralyzed and where it bites. And
so you had more to your story.
No, it's fine. But I mean, that's basically the gist. But like, I remember like playing like NES and Super Nintendo as a kid, and like they would just crawl over your leg. They crawl up because they were everywhere within the house, and it was just like, and so just the fact that you don't like a snake, you can at least see somewhat coming at you. You know, you're like, oh, there's a big thing. Whereas a spider could be right on your shoulder, and you have no idea. You know, and that. It's kind of like tickitis, you know, when you have like a bunch of ticks on you and you think they're still there and they're not there. It's the same thing.
For the most part, spiders, they don't bother me. I don't like them. You know, I'm not a fan of them or anything. But one time we were camping, and this is one of those moments where if I'm going to die, I'm just going to say, if I'm going to die, there's a good 75% chance it's because my wife is just like, you're fine.
right.
The other 25% legit broke my shoulder bone for doing like some dumbass shit. So I'm gonna say 25% I do something dumbass, but there's a good chance that my wife's just gonna be like, you're fine, and then I'm gonna die. So we're camping, and at the time we hike in, so we got our packs on. She's actually pregnant with my daughter at the time, so it's like one of our last few times that we get to really hike back. And we get this campsite set up, what have you, camping out that weekend. I wake up the next morning and I feel like shit. Like I just feel so horrible migraine. I can't.
You'll be
think
fine,
straight.
Matt.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and I'm hiking out with all of our stuff because she's pregnant, and that's fine. Like I wasn't asking her to carry the load, okay? But she wanted to go into town, and I was like, I'm sick. I just want to go home, because it's basically like it's like an hour home to drive home, or go into town, do some shopping, and get some food, and then go home. And I'm like, no, I'm sick. Let's go home. She's so pissed. She's just so pissed at me for not doing this. And on the way home, I noticed like, man, my arm just like really like there's something wrong. And like right here, well, where the scratch is right now, but I had this spot where this multiple bites, like not one set of 2 fangs, but multiple times that this spider was apparently.
I thought your wife was the one biting you.
No,
you must have laid on it or something.
It was in my pack or something,
pack, yeah.
or like it was trapped in such a way, and it just it bit me so many times, and then I was really worried. This is also in the time in which you didn't have your cell phone, which you could just look up shit while you rode. You just had to
Spider
wait
bite
until you got home, and then you Googled the shit, and then you were like, "Oh fuck, that's what happened to me."
Yeah.
One great thing to have in your first aid kit, whether you're camping or just around the house, is it's like the bug suck it out thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, your wife just suck it,
It's a plastic plunger, basically.
Right.
And you put it around a mosquito bite.
Yeah.
Any type of venom bite.
Yeah. It's just a syringe with the cup on it.
It's just a syringe with the cup on it, and you're able to like suck it out.
Yeah.
My mom had one of those.
It works so good. And if I'm telling you, like you get bit by a mosquito, you get it out of your system, you're fine. Like much better than any ointment.
I had never seen those. My mom had one. She got bit by a mosquito, and she goes, I go, huh? I thought you were just making that up.
A friend of ours was at our house.
Apparently, the saliva of a mosquito is what causes the irritation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Will, if you're going camping, in the mountains next week, just remember to always check your sleeping bag before you go for those brown recluses.
And watch out for snakes.
And bring a bug
mountain lions, and bring a bloodsucker in case a bear attacks you.
That's how they get you, man. The industry, they want you lugging all that shit in there with your pregnant wife. And
So after all this, did you end up having to go shopping, or did you go home?
No, we went home. We were on our way home. I won, but she was just mad.
But she was pissed
until I was like, "Hey, I've got this bug bite," and then she was just like,
that looks like human teeth to me.
Then I get home and I'm looking it up on the computer. I'm like, "Yeah, look, this is what I had." Whatever.
You ruined our trip, Matt.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Actually, they're staying at a campground that had bear issues last year.
Don't pack in jelly. Don't use jelly. Just use Vaseline.
They're just brown bears. They're like big dogs. Yeah.
So it's okay to be attacked by a brown bear?
Yeah, I'm sorry, black bears.
Do bears like beets?
And Battlestar Galactica.
They like to fly around and eat shit like Battlestar Galactica. I'm telling you though, that bug sucking thing works like a charm. A friend of ours had gotten bit by a wasp multiple times.
Yeah.
And it took care of that. Now wasps are just the stinger going in and out, but any type of venom, or any type of saliva. So anyway.
Matt Treese brought up bear. I've finished the second episode. I kind of like what they're doing this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anyone who hadn't seen it. I'm taking my time with it because you were talking about, we were talking about earlier about binging, like you binge Breaking Bad and didn't enjoy it as much. I like to take my time with some shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did with Succession, and I don't like to binge through them too quick because it's like you kind of miss something.
Well, there's
But
only
I
eight episodes, Matt, isn't that right? Or something like that. Like I think it's only 8 per season of the
I
Bear.
did laugh today at when they were saying there is no mold problem.
Right. Yeah. Just everywhere.
Was it Richie?
Yeah. Richie and the other guy. Yeah, the bigger guy. Yeah.
I said, oh my God, that was funny.
Yeah,
That
like
was
to me,
funny.
like the season 2, because I love season 1. I thought season 1 was great. Season 2 to me, it was a slow burn in the first few episodes, and then after that, it's just great. Oh, Grant, I thought you watched season 2.
I haven't seen Bear yet. No.
Oh,
I haven't
you haven't seen The Bear?
Oh,
No, I haven't seen season 2. I haven't
Oh,
seen
okay.
season 2.
No.
I'm not spoiling. Nothing's spoiled.
Yeah,
Just the
nothing's
mold.
spoiled. No, season 2 is great. It's just to me, I wasn't sure at first if it was going to be as good as season 1, and then once it gets going, you're like, okay, it's good.
I plan on watching it. Looking forward to watching it. It's fitting it into my.
I finally finished The Office so I can watch The Bear. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on doing an Office rewatch, but I had nothing to watch one night, and I have Peacock, so I just started watching it.
I enjoy going back to those later seasons, and kind of watching, especially the last season. I like watching.
Yeah, and it's just like going, why am I watching that? And then I got hooked on it, and so they're just you love the characters. Yeah. I still cringe though with the Pam and Jim stretch where they're just fighting.
Oh yeah,
I can't. I just like you don't want to watch mom and dad fight, and it's rough. It's like I don't know. It's tough to watch.
I hate that Chris isn't here because I know he really wanted to talk about Manifest. I finished it. Probably a few weeks before he started it, but he asked me before he started watching it. I was like, dude, you could literally watch the first episode and the last, and you're good. You won't miss a thing. But he still watched it all, and he knew that there was a certain point where I laughed out loud because it was so bad, and he nailed it. He's like, is this the part where you laughed out loud? I'm like, yes, it is. Because it is. I mean, the last 10 episodes of.
So you laughed out loud because it was so bad.
It was so bad. It was so like, I can't believe someone wrote this shit and thought it was serious bad. It's I mean, because like you watch it because it's bad. And then this last 10 episodes, which they broke the last season into 2 parts. It's like, okay, maybe they're going to really focus to make these last 10 episodes good. It's like, no, they just doubled down on shittiness. It's so just like, I can't believe I invested 10 hours of my life to watch this.
I'm so glad that I gave up after like the 3rd episode.
It's so bad. Like, it's really, I think it's one of those things like with Lost, like you just want to know the end. You want to know how are they going to, to close out this shit show. And Chris, I wrote him a text a few months back of like, at this point, are the actors know? I mean, are they in on the joke? Like, do they know this show is this bad, or are they genuinely trying? And that's the concerning part. It's like, did you go to acting school and you're actually trying right now? Because
they probably
damn.
They probably didn't get the best actors.
No, I mean everyone on the show is horrible. Yeah.
I mean, but I think it's like any job. I think if you're on a job and you're doing something and you're working with people that are just idiots, and it's just like, okay, I'm putting in my time. That's it. That's all you're getting from me. I think a lot of people are that way. I think actors are that way too. It's like, this sucks. I got to go to work every day. This sucks. It's crap. The writing is, because you had Katherine Heigl that was on
Grey's Anatomy,
and she bashed the writing. Well, I was like going, well, that's kind of a crappy thing to do. But then I started watching it with my wife. I go, she is 100% correct.
Oh yeah. I'm actually amazed that show lasted as long. It's still on, isn't it? I mean,
it's still on.
Yeah.
It should have been canceled or done like 15 years ago. It was.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Just think about how long General Hospital was on.
Right.
I mean, is it any different?
Because they get you hooked on. Because I remember I got hooked on The Guiding Light back in I was like 18 or 19. I watched it for like 2 fucking years because I go, okay, is that person gonna die? Is that person gonna die? And they would just drag it on for 3 months, and 3 months later, you're still going. I go, okay, this guy, they say he's dead, but he's gonna be alive. finally I said, okay, I got to break free of this. I got to break free. I'm
feel like
done.
that's what we do with the RCAD, like week to week. It's like, is Chris going to be there? Is Matt going to be there? Is Nick going to be there?
Especially in these summer months, we've gotten to where like to have all four of us is a rarity.
Yeah,
It is. And Chris is
like
the one that. Funny thing is, Chris is the one that wanted Wednesday.
He did want Wednesday, motherfucker. Well, still, we had a lot to talk about tonight, though.
Well, we did.
I did want to ask you guys a question. I forgot to mention this last week when I was in San Diego.
I will help you move.
Thank you. I was in San Diego, and we're thank you, Jackson Glaffelter.
Happy birthday to an early birthday for Jack too.
Because
Sherry says that we love all of you, but she's speaking for herself. There's definitely people in the chat who do not love all of us. They
exactly.
make it known.
Oh, they do.
We love all of you in the chat.
No, I'm saying there's definitely people within the chat that do not love all four of us.
Yes,
and I'm saying we love them all.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say that's a lie. Okay, anyway, so Jackson said my youngest daughter's turn his birthday tomorrow, and she goes, and as she was leaving today, she goes, okay, when I drop off my kids, you better wish me a happy birthday because you didn't do it last year. I said, okay, I'll try to remember. So as she left, I said, happy birthday. She goes, that doesn't count. So I kept texting her, happy birthday, happy birthday. I'm thinking about doing it at midnight, 12:01. Happy birthday. Is that being kind of a dick? Jackson Glapler's birthday is 4 days away.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
congratulations.
What was I talking about?
You were talking about
being
a reasonable man.
Shopping carts.
So we're in Santee at Avon's, and Cindy has no patience. We're doing the self-serve. I get the stuff, so I'm paying. She goes, I'll meet you out front. I said, all right. So I pay for it. I go out there, and she's waiting by the door. I go to push the cart. As we walk out the door, it stops.
Yeah.
I go,
yeah. I've had this happen.
I go, what the fuck is going on? I go,
I've had a defective cart do this to me before.
Well, this wasn't defective. It has sensors.
Yeah.
And if you don't, basically, if those people load up the carts and run out, if you do that, it's going to stop.
Yeah.
You can't. It literally, I couldn't move the fucking thing. So I grabbed stuff out and started walking away. And so, the guy that worked there asked Cindy, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Oh, we paid for it. We just can't figure out why it stopped." Mm-hmm. She goes, "Oh, he's going on and on," because she left early. It didn't give the sensor that had been paid. So I said, "Oh, this is a good thing, but it's a pain in the ass thing because."
No. I had this happen to me, something similar at a grocery store. They had some locking cart mechanism in place, and it malfunctioned right outside the door. And there I am with everything, and I'm like, fuck.
You sure they don't have sensors?
So then I had to it had sensors to lock it up, but for whatever reason I had paid, not sure why it thought or locked mine up. I just was like, well, this must be malfunctioning. But they had them in place though for that very same purpose of anti-theft. It stops it from. I think they had it so that it would stop from leaving the premises. And not.
Yeah, I honestly believe this is because it's a huge problem in California where people just load up their shopping carts and probably nationwide. And I was like going, what the fuck? I couldn't figure it out. I'm like going, I go, oh, it's got that locking device on it. I go, and then I saw these little round things on the ground. I go, oh, that must be sensors, and it probably locked it up. And so the guy was all pissed off. And he goes, I can show you my receipt. I walked away. And I'm like going because I go, where do we park our car? Because it's not our car, it's my sister's car. I have no trouble finding my own car, let alone someone else's car.
We walk from here.
It was like it was that Seinfeld episode where he's walking around with the air conditioner.
I was referencing Temple of Doom. So
Yeah, I know, but
Love here.
I think Seinfeld.
All right.
Anyway, I just was wondering if that's a thing nationwide. Is that
Well,
something-
I'm telling you, it happened to me. Although it was a malfunctioning cart, and then I had to move everything out into a different cart, and then push it out.
What
So-
worries me about that, like all the upswing in theft, is that they're going to try to implement some kind of facial recognition thing at every store now across the country, to where like you have to look at a camera.
Oh, that's coming anyway.
Well, it's
That's coming anyway.
I
Facial
God,
recognition.
I think eventually you're not going to have any stores.
well, that too. But like, I mean, I mean, that's it's one of the things like in Minority Report where that is a scary reality where everywhere you go, your face is tracked.
Yeah.
and
Person of
no,
interest.
and person of interest. Yeah. That scares me.
We're the only saved people in New York. But
Well, the other thing will be is, disguising your face or wearing makeup, in such a way. So, a lot more people might be, embracing, makeup in
you still
unique
see
ways,
people wearing masks. So
Right. True.
I know I watched a video today. It was a Gucci store.
Yeah,
think
in
in
LA.
LA,
It's Beverly
we're
Hills,
just-
yeah.
They're just running with all this, and stuff. Gucci stuff's expensive. I'm like going, when are they going to start just putting a chain on this and locking it up? Because
Yeah.
people are just going to keep, if it's there, they're just going to keep. I'm not saying it's right, but they're just going to keep stealing it.
Oh, it's like the Costco, like you have to show ID to enter,
Yeah.
So, although the other Costco I went to, they were like, "Oh, I just need to see that you have a Visa in there." I'm like, "Okay, that
A
seems weird."
Visa.
Yeah.
Did you see?
So, but even to check out at Costco, it's like, "Oh, I need to look at your face on there, to make sure that it is you." So.
Did you see the Jack that video? The first time I saw it was today, where a guy's in a little quickie mart and he's like just like raking all the cigarettes into like a garbage bin, and the guy being behind the register is like, just let him do it. There's nothing we can do about it. Like police won't care. The police won't charge him. And then the other employee, who's an Indian immigrant, just as a fucking cane, just starts whacking the shit out of him. And it's like. And the guy is like, okay, stop, just stop. He just keeps beating him with it.
But you read about employees getting fired all the time.
There's no doubt that guy will get fired.
For jumping in and doing something. And because I know where Cindy works, Kohl's, they can't. And people just come in there with duffel bags and fill them up and walk out. And they go, well, I guess they have the eye in the sky and they'll try and see their license plate. But a lot of times the people take their license plates off.
Yeah,
right.
That's where we're at as a society now. Whereas it's like even if I go steal so much amount of stuff, the legal charge is so minor that it's like, I got 60 hours of community service, or if I get caught, like it's all a slap on the wrist. It's nothing. Whereas if an employee tries to stop me and they assault me, I can sue Home Depot or whoever and get more money. And so it's like it's a lose-lose situation.
I think a lot of them do it on purpose, hoping.
Yeah.
Beat me up.
You know what else is a lose-lose? This podcast. And it's made possible by viewers like you.
Are you trying to close out the show, Matt? Because that's not your job.
Okay. All right. Well, just like that, I'm with SAG. I'm walking. I'm out of here.
Oh,
there we go.
Now you're in the producer.
Matt's in charge now. No, you're coming back.
Oh, fuck. No, I'm no skag. So
we can end this. Hey, I told the guys before this I took an edible for back pain today, before we recorded.
Rebooting. Am I right?
Well, okay. I don't. Okay, it wasn't really rebooting. I hit some. I don't know what I
hit snooze.
Things got all kind of crazy on my computer. So I'm actually really tired right now. So I think that this is a good place to end it. Great show, kids. 1 in a million.
We'll be back next week.
Should be back next week. I got a couple more weeks before I go to Alaska.
Alaska.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's why I was telling Cindy about the heat. She says how bad. I go, we're going to Alaska in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it feels
It's
great.
gonna be cold there.
It's not
That's
cold, but it'll be. Nice.
Well, it's like in the 50s and 60s.
That's what I'm saying. 50s, 60s. Yeah, this time of year.
Okay,
yeah.
it's 100 here.
I know.
I mean, I walk. I go, oh God, I hate. My wife goes, did you take Hayden outside today? Because I took him out yesterday. I go, no. She goes, well, he likes to go outside. I go, that's great. It's 150 degrees outside. I don't want to go outside.
Right.
I'm just dripping in sweat. I go, but tomorrow we're mowing the lawn because he likes to mow the lawn. I go, we're going to mow the lawn early.
Yeah, that's the thing is like early in the morning or late in the evening, but there's not much relief when the sun's out like that.
Yeah, it just sucks. I mean, but it's supposed to be a colder than normal winter.
It was this year in Colorado has been extremely weird because we had the coldest winter in a long time in Colorado, but we got the least amount of snow. And then it's rained more this year in the Front Range of Colorado than Seattle. And like today, it was 72 degrees inside my house. And, I'm just having the windows and the doors open. And I probably would not have had to turn my swamp coolers on if they worked right now more than 10 days so far this year. Because it's been so nice. It's just.
Well, we had it didn't really get hot here until probably a couple days into July. Usually it's like June, it starts getting hot.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a colder because we have El Nino, which is Spanish for
El Nino.
The Nino.
Every time, like Chris Farley. Every time.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a colder than normal winter. We shall see.
Sure. There's also this thing called climate change and global warming, but whatever. Yeah, sure. It's all El Nino's fault.
It's El Nino.
Yeah, El Nino.
Not climate change. It's El Nino.
Yeah, sure. It's only that.
There's an El Nino and an El Nino.
There is an El Nino. We've been the last 3 years have been El Nino. This is El Nino.
Sure.
El Nino.
It's supposed to be the worst El Nino in like 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they're saying, man.
Whatever
I don't want to burst your bubble.
Whatever your conservative newscasters are telling you to make
this is on. This is just every YouTube channel, Weather Channel thing.
Sure. Okay.
All right. So when it's cold and you're not prepared, I think that fucking Jack was right.
Bring on the cold. I like having 4 seasons.
So. I need to. Yeah.
Me too.
All right.
Anyway,
gentlemen.
I forgot where we were at.
We were at closing out this show. And
if you'd like to be a patron, because
sending us email.
Matt would like some more cable channels, but
gotta pay that DirecTV bill for Sherry. That's what
Sherry.
I'm trying.
Jesus, we couldn't. All 3 of us together couldn't pay for
could
that.
Not. Couldn't even
anyway,
pay half of it.
I'm not complaining,
but we'd like to thank.
We'd like to thank all the patrons, but we're going to thank Eckhart Richter Glapfelder, Maggie that magnificent, Joanne with a plan, and Ed, the overpricing stamp guy letter carrier. That's all we got. Hasta luego and El Nino, baby.
El Nino.
It was a great show.
Warming.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it wasn't our best, but it's okay. Yeah. I can live with it.
Next week.
I blame Sherry.
We're missing. Ever since Sherry told us about the $300, I just can't concentrate.
It just threw us off. Yeah,
it did. So it's all your fault, Sherry.
Thanks, Sherry.
Take away from the show. Jack is always right. Well, yeah.
Not really.
Bye, everybody.